Hi, everyone. I am so excited you are here. Why? Because, well, you're fantastic, but also because I am really excited. I'm taking this channel in a little different direction. You all have been saying you want to hear more of me talking, as well as some extras. So, I have decided to start a podcast called Love Shot. And I have this beautiful co host with me, Olivia Fox. She's a good friend of mine, and we decided to get together and start this podcast about relationships, ethical non monogamy, dating, the different types of dynamics that are out there that people are experiencing, and kind of how to navigate them all.
Oh, don't forget salacious stories. Oh my goodness, salacious stories, honey.
Always juicy, juicy good stories along with it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Olivia?
I've been in a polyamorous relationship for 21 years. We date other people, and it's really been rewarding. Sometimes we date people together, sometimes we date people apart. Everybody kind of has to be in that, that comfortable zone with it and stuff like that.
They completely have to be in a comfortable zone to be in poly. I mean, for those of you who don't know what polyamory is, it basically means multiple loves. And there are so many different dynamics to poly that it's hard to really say this one type is total poly because it really depends on the people.
It's kind of like a snowflake. Everyone's different. And you kind of define that. And even my partner and I, we're very different in what we like and desire. But we met up and then was like, hey, we started dating, and it was like, I was like, I'm not monogamous. And I was like, well, what does that mean?
Wait a minute. So I'm confused. So he said, I'm not monogamous, but didn't that kind of
red flag.
Funny?
Red flag, honey, red flag.
I have this huge list of experience. I have actually lived ethical non-monogamous relationships, non-monogamy in sexuality relationships since I was 16. I've been in a long-term poly relationship for over 20 years. I have dated men, couples, women, all kinds of combinations from, casual hookups. I know. We all know what that is, don't we?
Oh, yeah,
and they're a lot of fun, aren't they?
Yeah.
So just literally trying every possibility of a relationship dynamic I have experienced, because I'm always that fun-loving, hey, I really like you. What's your flavor? How do you go about relationships?
What's your flavor? I love that. What's your flavor?
It's totally a flavor, because some days you're in the mood for one thing and some days you're in the mood for another. But when you find that perfect one, that one that you just want to wake up next to every single day, or that you can't get out of your head, it's hard to let it go.
Well, yeah, it is. And that's the thing. I met him and it's like, I wanted to spend every day with him. I wanted to wake up with him. I wanted to spend life with him, And so past that, though, it was like he opened my mind to this whole concept of polyamory or ethical non-monogamy.
So did you have experience before
No.
this relationship in anything that was outside of the traditional monogamous
No, I did not.
one-on-one relationship?
Yeah, initially I thought red flag, he just wants to screw everybody. I'm like, you guys. But it was not like that. It was really more of like, he really wanted to, it's about experiences, and every person, it was about self-growth and stuff like that. And he was like committed to me, but he was like, hey, I want you to know and give you time. And he gave me time with the relationship, and we could, grow the relationship together and get that intimate bond. But after that, it was like, hey, let's do this together. So, we tried swinging for a little while. We did some of those things like that. But it was like swinging really wasn't our thing. But I did find out, hey, I do like women. Yes, I do. I like women and men. So it's like, I was like, oh, I realized my sexuality was on a spectrum. And so when we started doing all those things, we just started looking for, well, I really like something more committed. I like something that's more meaningful, like a meaningful connection, more than just like a hookup, which is what the swinging was being. It was like, hey, just a hookup. And I just didn't want to be a booty call. And I really didn't want my man being a booty call either, if you know what I mean. So it was like, hey, let's look
I
for
don't
something.
know. Sometimes I like the booty call. Sometimes I like being the booty
I
call.
know you do. I know
You
you
know,
do.
I mean, it depends on what kind of mood I'm
Yeah,
in.
right, right. I know you, girl. Well, it's just like, that was kind of our introductory experience with the whole thing. And what I found out was like, oh, there's these poly folks. And I started reading about it, and he introduced me to it and said, hey, read some books and stuff. And he was really wonderful and great and just kind of eased me into the understanding of it. Didn't push. And it was up to me if that was something for me. And what I found out was, yeah, I think that's my jam. I like it. It gave diversity, and it was like, in some ways, yes, it kind of spiced up the marriage a little bit, but it also gave freedom back to the individual freedom of the person to still like different things still, and it's okay. And it's like I always like to tell people, I like chocolate and vanilla. It's like I go to Baskin Robbins and I want 31 flavors. That's just like life. Food's that way. People can be that way. I'm not saying I'm slutting around or anything, but I'm just saying it's like you get to have more relationships. And so we started developing these relationships with people, and we started dating, and we kind of brought them in, kind of like that, table, what they call kitchen table polyamory, where everybody kind of, hey, everybody knows each other, everybody's cool with each other. That everybody doesn't have to sleep with each other. Sometimes they do, but they don't.
No,
It's just, but
wait a
they like each
minute.
other.
How is that? I mean, I thought that was, in some regards, just being ethically non monogamous, making sure all your
Hmm.
partners know that, hey,
It is
I
right.
have other partners, I'm seeing other people, even if you're being serious, that
Yeah.
everybody knows about everyone. But listening to you talk about how you met your partner, I'm hearing a resemblance because I kind of started my whole life dating experience just being this very open and practicing ethical non monogamy from the get go. Like, I tried a monogamous
Yeah,
relationship
yeah,
once, and to be honest with you, I mean, it was fun, but I started getting bored.
yeah,
And it had
yeah.
nothing to do with the other person I was with. I was just losing interest. It wasn't satisfying me enough. It wasn't taking care of me enough, kind of thing. And even though I wanted to keep that relationship and
Yeah.
I really liked that other person, it's just it was like something was missing. And I actually, the one and only time, and this was years ago, I mean, I
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
teenager, so I know everybody has probably experienced a similar thing. So I was dating this guy and had been dating him for several months, and we were having sex. And then it was like all of a sudden one day, I just could not take it anymore. And I needed another partner. I needed another sexual partner. And this guy, he was totally not into non monogamy. And I kind of knew that. And instead of confronting him, I found myself, I cheated. There was this
Ah,
other guy, and we had known each other for a little bit and always kind of flirted around with each
yeah.
other. And it was just kind of, he hit at the right moment kind of thing. And I felt so horrible afterwards because I knew the guy I was dating, it, I didn't think it was necessarily going to be kosher for him.
Oh, what, to cheat on him?
Yeah, well,
Oh,
no,
goodness,
for me to
girl.
have another sex
Oh,
partner.
okay.
It was just the
Yeah.
mere fact that we hadn't had that
Mm-hmm.
conversation, even though he had kind of told me he was kind of a monogamous type person, and I was so young. I didn't know myself well enough. It was like
Yeah.
the first serious kind of semi adult relationship. You're a
Yeah,
teenager.
yeah, yeah.
So it's the first semi serious relationship I'd had. And I didn't know I was this way. It's like,
You
It
don't know
just
till you
came.
know.
It just
Yeah.
came out.
Yeah.
And it surprised me as much as it surprised him, although he wasn't so happy about it. But I felt so bad that I had to go talk to him and tell him because it was that one instance. And it's not like the guy I fooled around with, it didn't go very far.
Yeah.
We're talking like maybe, heavy petting,
Yeah.
kissing. That was
He's just
about
playing around with
it.
some NRE.
Yeah,
That new relationship
well,
experience, just wanting to have
see, the
one,
new
right?
relationship experience,
Yeah.
that's another podcast we're going to have to talk about.
Yes.
Maybe the next one. That one instance, I was like immediately in the middle of fooling
Yeah.
around with this other
Yeah.
guy. Like it just hit me like a wave.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, I am not sexually monogamous, but I can't do it this way.
Yeah.
This isn't the right way.
Right, I get this. I get it. There's things you can do that you can't do. But let me bring up a point.
Well,
because,
it's not about the things you can do that you can't
Well,
do with the other people. It's
no,
not that at
sometimes
all.
it's about adding an additional one.
No, it was just like everything in my core
Yeah.
said, I'm not sexually monogamous.
Yeah.
And any relationship structure that required me to be that way, I was going to fail at.
Yeah.
And I knew it.
Well, it's
I
like,
was just going to bomb and other
Yeah.
people were going to get hurt and I was
Right.
going to become someone, a label of someone that I didn't want to be.
well, that's what you mentioned about getting hurt, and because getting hurt's, that's what you try to eliminate with poly. Poly is obviously loving more than one person. Now, you mentioned ethical non-monogamy. That's what you do in the dating phase of poly. You do all that type of ethical non-monogamy, and you look for partners that
Yeah.
you actually have feelings for. Yeah.
You can have that open
Yes.
dialogue.
Yes,
with.
and communicate.
Have you noticed that so many people are just, they don't want to talk about sex? You
Oh,
start dating. Have you
yeah.
ever tried to bring up
Talk
the
about sex.
sex
Yeah,
conversation
right.
with them?
Mhm.
I mean, how awkward
Yeah.
and uncomfortable that whole situation
God.
is.
Yeah.
I-
There's
have
so
you
many. Oh yeah, I have
experienced
experienced
that?
that. Yes, the first when you meet somebody, you want to talk about those things. But yeah, it can be a little bit nerve wracking. But honestly, I look for people that are confident, or they feel like they, at least whatever amount of experience they had, they just like own it. And I like that. Confidence is sexy. I can't express that enough. How much confidence is so sexy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
be confident, never say a word to me, and
Yeah.
show it in your body language
yeah.
from across the room. And my little radar starts going off, and I'm like, ooh.
Yes.
Then I have to assess if they're the
Yes.
cocky confident or if it's
Right,
genuine
right.
confidence.
Yeah, you don't want the arrogant cocky
That
kind.
is
That's a
for
turn off,
me,
girl.
that is
Yeah.
the worst.
Yeah.
To have somebody that is cocky about their confidence.
Mm-hmm. Oh, oh, yeah.
I don't find that they tend to last very long with me.
Yes.
And I've had guys that I've dated before
Yeah.
tell me it's because I come across as so genuinely confident
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
anytime another man comes and hits on me in front of the person I'm dating,
Yeah.
that it challenges them. It
Oh, the man
challenges,
you're with?
yeah,
The man you're with. Oh.
ends up challenging
Yeah.
them. So if they just have that cocky confidence,
Yeah.
from my experience, I have found that those men with cocky
Yeah.
confidence, they end up trying to control me and lock me down even
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I do not
None of us ladies like
I
that.
repel.
No. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if that's true. I have other girlfriends.
Well, maybe. Are they submissive?
That well, no,
Maybe.
that like they want that. That's what
Yeah.
they're looking for, and that's totally fine if you're that type of
Yeah.
person.
Well, I get
It's
that.
about finding the right
Yeah.
matches.
I thought I
Yeah.
wanted that. I thought I wanted it that other way. But I just was naive. I just didn't understand. I didn't have any experience. And I found such a loving partner that was like, hey, let's just ease into it and try it. And if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But he's like, this is something that I think you might like. This is something I like, and let's see if it's something that him and I can share. And just kind of, and it did. It really enhanced the relationship. It really brought us together even closer. We ended up dating You know, we've dated women, we've dated men, we've dated other couples, where it's like I said, where we actually started having an intimate relationship, but also everything else in life. Well, like we shared duties and tasks and doing errands and just living life together and really enjoying each other's time and in essence falling in love with each other.
Those
Yeah.
are the ones that I say I want to wake up next to every single
Well, we're gonna need a
day.
big bed.
Someone, am I invited now?
I don't know, maybe.
Because I think I just got invited to the bed.
We're gonna
I
need a
don't
big
know how
bed.
I feel about that. I mean,
Well, you know, honey.
we're girlfriends. I don't want to cross any
Yeah,
boundaries.
yeah.
But
But yeah.
seriously, that's what I call that's my primary. That's who I'm looking
Yes.
for in a
Yes.
primary. Somebody, and a primary means it's your one person that you want to wake up to
Yeah.
every single day,
Yeah.
that you may even want to get married and still be
Yes.
in a poly
Yeah,
relationship
like I am.
and an ethical non
Yes.
monogamous
Yeah.
relationship. It doesn't mean you have to be locked down.
Right. It does, and I think that's just it. And something I have learned with Polly that I learned myself on this journey, and I've been doing it, 20, like I said, it's 21 years, and the self growth that takes place because I find out that I'm different with different people. And those different people, just like when you have friends and groups of
Mm-hmm.
friends, those different people, they influence you. And so you get some of these influences from these people and you pick things up, and it just has enhanced me as a human being. And I love that about it. It's evolution, baby. And that right there is probably the most powerful thing I believe in Polly. Now, Polly's not easy, but
Oh
that's what
no.
keeps me moving.
It's the most
Yeah.
complicated structure of
Oh, yeah.
responsibility, scheduling.
Scheduling,
You're
yes.
kind of, in a lack of a better
Yeah.
term, I
Yeah.
found at least you're kind of a project manager for your sex life, for
Yes.
your romantic
Yes. Oh my
life.
God. Yes.
Because depending on you are kind of sitting at the head of it,
Mm-hmm.
which,
Mm-hmm.
everybody has a different role and they want different things. And that's what's beautiful. I
Yeah.
found with Polly, you mentioned how being with different people gives you different experiences.
Yes.
I so have had that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I think definitely when I was younger that initially drew me to these types of relationship structures.
Mm-hmm.
And this was way before it was ever popular.
Oh yeah.
Like, I had a hard time finding people who were okay with it. I was
Yeah.
single for a lot of years because I couldn't find people that were fine with it, that
Yeah.
understood it,
Yeah.
that knew about it. And so when I finally started, when it started becoming more
Yeah.
commonly known, or people just felt like the traditional marriage structure wasn't working for them,
Oh yes.
then they
Mm-hmm.
started exploring and finding those different people. I was learning things about myself that
Yeah.
these total strangers were helping to teach me unknowingly
Yeah.
about the different interactions, and different people like different sexual things and they like to go do different things and they
Yeah.
have different interests that maybe you share with them, but you don't share all of your
Mm-hmm.
interests with them.
Right.
So then
Mm-hmm.
it's like it started balancing out living and
Yeah.
lifestyles.
Balancing out's a good
And
word.
I feel like a more well rounded person
Yeah.
because sometimes I want to go do this one thing, but my primary partner has no interest
Yeah.
in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. And I'm totally fine with that. And I'll go do things by myself.
Yeah.
I'd prefer to have company with some of them, but I'll go do things
Yeah.
by myself. So to be able to know someone else that that's something they really enjoy too, but they don't have anybody else,
Yeah.
or someone else that they do have to enjoy it with isn't available, then
Oh
we
yeah.
can go
Yeah.
share those
Yeah.
experiences together. And it's just like you get to see a new way of life through the
Yeah.
interaction and
Absolutely.
find out things about yourself you never
Oh
knew
God,
you
yes.
even possessed. And I love that aspect
Me
that
too.
the ethical non monogamy, poly,
Oh yeah.
swinging, because I've tried almost every single type of lifestyle that's out there, from fetish to kink to swinging to you name it. I've done some
Yeah,
flavor of it.
I saw you on
You,
Playboy Swing Girl. I saw
yes,
you.
I was. As I'm
Oh.
turning three different shades of
Yeah.
blush. It was such a good
Mm-hmm.
time. It was
Yeah.
such a good time. And such a just eye-opening experience to be
Yeah.
with people who, first off, the Playboy TV machine is amazing. The
Yeah.
entire crew and
Oh yeah.
staff was unbelievable to work with. That's one of the groups that I've worked on many different sets and other mainstream TV and movie
Mm-hmm.
productions, and they are one of the tops to work with.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. But the people who participated with me, I was the most experienced, and they'd bring on newbies, and they had people who'd been in it for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow I got thrown in the midst
Yeah.
of getting the newbies' feet wet,
Oh God.
and which can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it can be extremely nerve wracking because they are
Yeah.
so nervous.
Yeah.
They are so nervous about taking that plunge into
Mm-hmm.
trying something that they haven't ever experienced, or maybe their family doesn't approve, or their friends have given them flack for being on the show. There's
Yeah.
tons of different reasons
Okay. Okay.
why.
So what did you do? What did you do
Well,
on the
maybe
show?
you'll
I want to
have
know.
to. What do you mean, what did I do?
I want to hear a
I
story.
was
I want to
there
hear a
to
story.
play.
Yeah.
So there was this brand new couple, and they were there for the show. So
Yeah.
obviously, they submitted an application, got approved. So they've already taken that first step, but we could not get them. They were so timid
Yeah.
and so uncomfortable. So
I can only imagine. It's like
my
it's the
oh
first
yeah,
time and they're gonna do it on
very
TV.
first time, and they're doing it on TV.
Oh my
And they're
God.
like, I don't know,
Oh.
but you can tell that they are so eager,
Yeah.
and they just are having difficulty getting over that first hump. So I got sent in by everyone. The director, the whole crew, they were like, all right, Ruby, this is you. You're up. This is you. And I was like, wait a minute. How did I get nominated for this? They're like, well, you're the perfect person for it. I went, oh, really?
Yeah.
So I went into DEs.
So was this just like a swinging experience?
Oh, it was just a
I
total
guess
swinging
hence the
experience.
name of the show,
Yeah.
right? But it's like, okay, so that's what it
Swing.
was. Yeah.
So it was just complete swinging lifestyle.
Yeah.
And new people getting involved in it. So I went in and warmed them up and got them relaxed. And before you know it, I'm on top of her out on the patio. She's getting undressed. We're making out. Things are getting crazy. Clothes are going everywhere. And this was the girl who was so timid.
Yeah.
I could barely get her to say a word to me.
Yeah.
So I guess I was effective at warming him up. I don't know.
Oh God. I'm thinking of that I Kissed a Girl song. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I know.
You did it to her.
I did. And you know what? I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just a ball, and it's great to see people
Oh,
just
it
really
is.
let
Yeah.
themselves go
Yeah.
and feel comfortable enough to take that first step.
Yeah.
Because that's the hardest part.
Yes.
Once you get in
Oh,
it,
yeah.
everything you thought you were going to have concerns and worry
Oh
about
yeah.
just seem to not be an issue.
Well,
They just totally melt away.
Well, if it's for you, that is. I mean, I knew people that tried these lifestyles out, and it's not for them. You know, they're like, "Wow, then they knew. You just know it's not for you." And then, if it's like that, don't do it.
I actually was at a swing
Don't
party
force yourself.
once. I know.
Yeah.
I was at a swing party once, and there were several new couples who, it was a house party, several new couples, and things are getting really hot and heavy for the night.
Yeah.
And so the whole living room was just kind of littered with clothes and bodies.
Oh, God.
Just having a good old
Sounds
time.
like an orgy, girl.
Well, no, it wasn't an orgy. Everybody was off with their
doing
own people,
right.
doing
Just
their
the
own thing. It's just everybody kind of seemed to stop wherever they were at. That's just how the night went.
Yeah.
So one of the new couples, they started playing with this other experienced couple. And all of a sudden, the girl just got up. She looked a little distressed and walked out of the room.
Oh, wow.
And everybody
Oh, my
did
God.
not notice, because everybody tries to be very conscientious and keep an eye on everyone. And the rest of us noticed. And I was in the middle of playing with somebody, and I was like, "Hey, hold on, the new girl, she just walked down. She does not look like it's okay."
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
So when you say, you
Right.
get into it and
Yeah.
if it's not for you, she knew this just isn't my thing.
Yeah.
And that is totally okay.
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes it just hits you like a ton of bricks. Now her husband, he was having a gay old time.
Oh, I bet he was.
He was having a ball, and
Oh, my
actually
God.
it was us girls who noticed she walked off.
Yeah.
He didn't. So, some of us went to just go check on her to make sure she was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if we needed to pull her husband out between the other girl's legs. Because he was off in his own world having a ball.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fantastic to see somebody enjoy
Yeah.
themselves so much.
It
But
is, yeah.
in those situations,
What was it? This was a swing
This
thing?
was a swing
Okay.
party.
It's like adult playtime. That's what that is. It's adult playtime.
play dates.
A play date.
Kind of like
we'll
adult
have-
play dates.
Yeah, we're going to have a play date
And
today.
on that note, we should have another play date.
With who? Me and you or
The
what?
podcast. Because this
Yes, we should.
conversation can go on and on.
Oh my gosh, we have so many stories, and so many lived experience aspects to share with all of you between the two of us. We've been doing this a long time, and it's just, we have so much to share. And I think we would love to hear from everybody if you have questions.
Yes,
Yeah.
please write us questions if you want dating advice, or you need to, just any question you have about any of these relationships.
Or you're looking to
ethical-
explore.
Or you're just curious, or you just want to know, hey, what's this like? Let us know.
So drop us a comment, and we will add it to the next podcast.
Well, I hope you join us again for another love shot.